who is a graduate of Yonkers schools, and he'll tell you about himself. And he has launched a very important initiative here in the country, and it's all about education. Dennis?
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Dennis Richmond Jr., and I'm the founder and director of the New York, New Jersey HBCU initiative. And I would like to thank the committee so much for allowing me to have this opportunity to just speak for a quick 2 minutes. When we look at the Amistad, we're looking at not just one, but hundreds of thousands of ships that carried African bodies from Africa here. Often in textbooks that are outdated, you will hear people say things like they stole slaves from Africa. They did not steal slaves from Africa. They sold scientists and architects and politicians and lawyers and doctors. So when you say you stole slaves, that's a misconception. You stole people, families, mothers, fathers, uncles, aunts, nephews, nieces. You stole people who had names. And when they got to the shores of New York, in Charleston, in Georgia, those names were taken from them, and that religion experience was taken from them, and who they thought they were was taken from them because their children were sold and did not have the opportunity to learn who they were. Because when you don't have trees, when you don't have branches around, you do not know who you are, and you walk around blind in a forest. HBCUs, which began in the 1850s, historically black colleges and universities, schools such as Morgan and Cheney, we understand were created not because people of color did not want to go to college, but because they were barred from going to certain colleges, so they made their own. Ships, when we look at the Amistad and the African experience in this country, is nothing but a major story of making your own. How you create your own religion when they say you cannot practice your religion. How you create your own language when you're trying to learn another language. How you create your own educational system in a system that does not want you to learn. Howard University, Claflin University, South Carolina State are all institutions. Clark Atlanta, which came from Atlanta University, and Clark College were created not because they wanted to be created, but because people had to learn. It is imperative that in 2019 we remember that in 1619 the course of history took such a dramatic change because millions of African bodies were brought here. But ladies and gentlemen, before I leave, I just want you to know that those African bodies, some of whom jumped off of the slave ship, because as we learned, they knew that death was better than bondage. We know that it is those people who we are descended from today. So if you ever try to remember the legacy of the Amistad or of any other slave ship that occurred in this country, all you have to do is look around the room, because you would see that our ancestors did not die for nothing. Because we are all standing here strong, not just as black people, but as people from across the world in the beautiful state of New York, in the beautiful city of Yonkers. So understand that the Amistad is not just one slave ship that we will look at, but one of many. And it represents not just the history of people of color, but our American history, our New York history, our Hudson River history, and the history of Yonkers. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you nothing but success in your endeavors. And remember that as we mark the 400th year of black people being in this country, we will not be turned around. We will work together and we will overcome. Frederick Douglass said that it is easier to build strong children than it is to repair broken men. And in the city of Yonkers, we are in the business of building strong children. Thank you.